fucking show.
Hey folks, how you guys doing? It's Will Patterson here, live here with Tight End Loose Out. I hope you guys are all having yourselves a great week so far. Sorry folks, I'm still in the sharing process of this, so just give me a moment. If you guys haven't got it on it yet, you guys should be watching this on Redline Radio anyways, but if you're not, then don't worry, hang on. We're going to go ahead and we're going to get you on the show here real soon. Hopefully you guys are having yourselves a great day. And I know that I am. That's for damn sure. And it's been a crazy, crazy busy day so far. I literally have been running all over the damn state of Florida today. This week, matter of fact, it's just been completely nuts. So it's hopefully you guys are having yourselves a great weekend coming up and all that other fun stuff. Dave, speaking of fun weekends, how was your weekend last weekend? How was your week? What you got going on this week, brother?
My weekend wasn't too exciting. I went to the Cavs game. They lost on Friday. And then they won again on Sunday to advance, and then they blew the 22-point lead last night.
Oh my God, dude, I'm watching that. I'm like, they're going to lose this damn thing. I could not believe that they're going to cough it up, and they did.
44 points to 11 they scored with 7 to go in the fourth quarter. They had the game won. They just got a little bit too lazy. I don't know what happened, but other than that, Willie had a good week. Started a new job last week, man. I'm loving it, learning more and more each and every day. It's been a while since I did this type physical work, but I'm good. Still hitting the gym 3 days a week. Been eating healthier and going on my walks, man. So I'm just excited, man. Today was a new day. After this show's time to go to sleep and then get back up and do it all again tomorrow.
Are you saying your prayers and eating your vitamins, brother?
I am, but I don't have 24-inch pythons. I got about 12. They're getting pretty big. So,
okay, all right, Dave. All right.
So yeah,
I see you there.
Yeah, so that's all I've been doing, man. That and just trying to save a few bucks, man, and hopefully, I didn't want to re-sign a lease where I'm at, but I kind of got stuck into doing it. So, one more year at this old place would be my third year coming up here. So I want to get out of here as fast as possible and save some money. I want to save about 10 grand, put a nice little down payment down and move on from here. And then hopefully eventually I can move the studio and stuff into my basement or wherever I move to, because I don't want to be paying 2 bills, you know?
Well, what about the new studio? Don't you got a new studio coming up here?
I do have a new studio, but we got a little bit of a delay. My insurance company is going through some renter's insurance because they want to do a commercial and the mall doesn't want them to do a commercial. They wanted to do it as a sole proprietor since I'm an LLC. So they wanted them to do it that way. So it's just a little bit of a hiccup. So the new policy, just a little bit of paperwork. So it should be ready by middle of next week that I can start moving stuff in over there. So
right.
A little bit of delay, man. A lot of people are like, were you excited? Listen, man, if a lot of people know me, I don't get excited until I know for sure that I'm either on the racetrack or things are happening or I'm there and the lease is signed. I mean, the lease is signed, but I'm not happy or I'm not going to be excited until I'm in there and we're broadcasting live. Other than that, never know what could happen.
Right. So, yeah, that's good. So for me, this weekend, going to be a good weekend, going out on a friend's boat. Going to go out to a concert in the middle of the Gulf. I was just told about this yesterday, and I'm like, yeah, sign me up for that. Then the next weekend, I'm going on a 4-day cruise, and then I get back from that on Monday. We'll do the show on Wednesday, and then Thursday. Okay. Then you got the late Memorial Day weekend, which, by the way, Oswego, let's have a talk here. Okay. For as the longest time that I've ever been alive for in my life, Oswego Speedway's opening day has not opening day, but they've always raced on Memorial Day weekend. I don't know what the reasoning behind that is, or what the schedule issuing is, or why it is the way it is, but you're not racing it on Memorial Day weekend. I remember when Memorial Day weekend races were held on Sunday afternoon, kind of like the Classic. Obviously not as many laps, but I remember sitting up there with the Kingsleys, and they were giving Indianapolis 500 results over the PA system. I mean, how many of you people remember that back in the 80s and 90s? And that's back when it was the Richie Evans Memorial. So yeah, I'm dating myself there, folks. But yeah, it's I don't get it. I don't understand. It's somebody help me out here on why is it that they're not running on Memorial Day weekend. It would be a huge, sorry folks, I got to have my work phone on me. We have a lot of thunderstorms going on down here. So if you guys hear updates for weather here on my phone, that's going to be my work phone, because something happens with one of my people, I'm going to have to literally do the show and text him at the same time. So Dave, I might need some help from you today. Just want to go ahead and thank everybody for coming on. I appreciate it. Let's go and get to, oh yeah, by the way, folks, you guys did such an exceptional job last week with sharing and liking and commenting. And I'm going to need you guys to do that again. Please share the shit out of this show. Like the show. I'm going to keep telling you guys constantly, keep sharing it, because we got to get on this algorithm. We got to let everybody know how great and wonderful Super Modifieds are and how great you fans are and how diehard we actually are. With that being said, I want to go ahead and thank Outlaw Light Beer for being a part of this. I want to go and, you know what, Dave? Let's just get to the sponsors, brother. Let's just go ahead and get to the people that pay the bills. All right. So welcome to the Fisher Custom Printing Studio here. As you guys can see this banner right here behind me, the Tight End Loose Out banner. They made this wonderful banner for me. And let me tell you guys something. It's beautiful. They shipped it down to me. They'll ship your any type of banners that you have all across the country, from the West Coast to the East Coast, even up into Canada. And if you got any Latina or Latino friends down there south of the border, they'll ship it down there too. So if you guys are Super Modified fans watching this, get a hold of Fisher Custom Printing. They do race car lettering. They do all that type of glassware, tchotchke type stuff. They even come out and letter your business too for your doors. So if you got any creative ideas or anything like that, get a hold of Fisher Custom Printing. They're based out of Wellington, Ohio. Their phone number is 440-371-8424, and tell them Willie or Will or William from Tight End Loose Out. Call me any one of those names. I'll answer all three. Those don't call me late for dinner. But tell them Tight End Loose Out sent you, and I promise you'll get a 10% discount. Use that promo code, folks. Beat the shit out of that promo code. I'd appreciate it if you guys did. Oh, then we got Lenny Fowler Bush Trimming Services. Nobody gets in the deep bush better than Big Lenny Fowler. Big Lenny Fowler Bush Trimming Services. Then you got the Big Chief Tax Services. Nobody cooks the books like the Big Chief, based out of Oswego, New York. Go ahead and get a hold if you got any tax services or anything like that based out of the Oswego, New York area. I'm telling you right now, get a hold of Big Chief Greg Calacerdo. He does the books for a lot of people up there, and he knows how to cook them correctly. Oh, then we go and we have our boy Al Miller. Al Miller, owner of the number 69 350 Super Modified, based out of Wellington, Ohio. He's came on board again this year. Al is a 3-year sponsor. This show's been going on for 3 years, and Al's been a sponsor on it for all 3 years. So Al, just want to go ahead and thank you so much for coming on and being a sponsor again this year. I appreciate it so much. And Al, let me tell you something, buddy. I still have the check, and I still have not cashed it yet. So you're going to probably be like, hey, how come you haven't cashed a check yet? I still got it, Al. I'm just so damn busy, man, with life right now. It's just getting crazy. Hey, Nate Yates is on, and Gene Barger's on. Hello, how you guys doing today, folks? Good to see you guys on here. Then you got Access Mini Storage. Safe, secure, dry, low rates, based out of Oswego, New York. Their phone number is 315-343-3090. Access Mini Storage.
Willie, and then we have Gene is distant cousin of the Schulicks.
Oh, is she? Okay.
Yeah,
All right then.
Gene, can you explain in the chat how you are cousins with the Schulicks? But go ahead. Your last sponsor up here right
Yeah,
now, Will.
long time personal friends of mine, Gene. Dave and my dad were work friends, and they're really close. So I'm kind of like an adopted Schulich, as Dave and DJ like to say. But so you got Expert Roofing Contractors, based out of Oswego, New York, also as well. They came on this year. New sponsor to the show. We got a couple new sponsors where I have their artwork made. I still have to send it in, but I know that we have Reinhard Kingsley Mowing, based out of Oswego, New York. They're a part of this show, and I cannot thank them enough for everything that they've done. We're going to talk about Jason, that was a guest on the show this year. Me and him had ourselves a great conversation on Sunday about the golf outing that happened on Saturday. So, and then we have Big Jim's. So how can we describe Big Jim's? Big Jim's golf cart taxi service. Nobody gets around town like Big Jim. If you guys know Big Jim Coloca, he has a golf cart taxi service that he breaks out there at Oswego Speedway during the big races, where if you need to ride up the hill from the campsites, go ahead and get a hold of Big Jim. He'll haul your ass up there, and he gets around town. It's everybody loves the big guys, don't they, Big Jim? Everybody loves the big guys, Killer. I love it. Yes. So for everybody else, I'm sorry. We have Atkins Glass, based out of Sandusky, Ohio. Who else do we got, Dave? Is that all, everybody? Guys, I'm sorry. Just life is so busy right now. Give me some time. I'll get you guys the sponsorships up there. A lot of these things are all goofs. Some of them are actually real, but I appreciate everybody. I really do.
Yeah, Willie, you haven't sent me the rest of the sponsors yet.
Dave, I already thrown myself under the bus a couple times. All right, nobody's blaming you. All right, it's all my fault. All right, folks.
No,
be mad at me.
I'm not mad at you. I don't think they're mad at you neither. You were talking. I thought you were talking to me. My fault.
No. You're fine. So I had a wonderful phone call with Jason Kingsley on Saturday. We're going to get into that. And literally he just had nothing but great things to say about how the golf outing went. And I'm happy to tell you guys this right now. And this is just literally phenomenal. And this is what they posted. Well, and I'm going to read it verbatim, though. It goes, "Yesterday was our maiden voyage on the golf tournament fundraiser idea. We had a fantastic day, weather-wise, and everything turned out amazing. So many people to thank and recognize for their time, money, and effort. First and foremost, he likes to thank his wife, Stephanie, who gets him into this shit. His parents, Marianne Reinhardt and Joe Kingsley, who went above and beyond with whatever we asked. They sat in the clubhouse at the course all day and did whatever was needed. Jason would like to also thank his daughter, Lauren, and her fiance, Ken, who was right there pitching in with them. Dennis Rupert. Speaking of that, Rupert Party Rentals, folks. Do not forget Rupert's Party Rentals. They got dunk tanks, bounce houses. They got everything you guys want. They're based out of Fulton, New York. So if you guys got a graduation party, need tables and chairs, get a hold of Rupert's Party Rentals. They'll take care of you. Thank you very much, Jason, for hooking me up with that. I almost forgot about him. But Dennis Rupert rocked it, and with the food and making sure shit was done when it needed to be. Sean Cathcart donated a bunch of food to keep everybody fed. Tamarack Golf Course was amazing and helped them with every step of the way. Tamarack Golf Course, you guys are always awesome. I golf there every year with Jason for the classic golf outing. They are just a top-notch golf facility. And thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. Every person who golfed and supported this thing and donated money, I truly thank you. Sincerely, Jason Kingsley. I don't know if I'm allowed to say how much that they made on this. And a lot of you guys have watched the Jason Kingsley episode. And Jason came up with this ridiculous idea of how much money that he wants to have for Classic. And And I'm like, wow. If you guys watched the replay, even I'm like, whoa, like that was a crazy, crazy number. I will tell you, if you guys go back and watch the replay, he's halfway there. He's halfway to his goal right now, folks, from that golf outing. Jason, I'm going to challenge you. All right, Jason, I know you're watching. I see that you're watching. So I'm going to challenge you right here on the show, right here, right now. I want you to up it another $5,000. I want you to up it $5,000 more than what you said it was on this show, more than what we talked about on the phone. Let's make this a challenge, So just want to go and just say he's doing such a great job, and everybody up there is doing an awesome job. I cannot wait to see you guys. You never know when I'm going to show up. All right, that's all I can say. Just be prepared. You never know when old Big Will is going to show up there. So just know that I will be up there for a race before a classic, and that's all I'll say. The people that know, and the people that don't know, you're going to find out. So yeah, so yeah, Jason, I challenge you. Yep, I challenge you, Jason Kingsley. I love it. I love it because he's going to be like, I know he's going to say challenge accepted. He cannot stand to lose to me. If there's anything more that I could help, brother, you know that I'm going to be there for you. I promise you, man. We're lifelong brothers, and if there's anything that I could ever do for you, you know that I will. So yeah. So with that being said, folks, Dave, are you ready to bring on the guest? Are we ready to bring on the Junkyard Dog?
Oh, I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready, Willie. But Jean says real quick, her family member, Malcarrick, married a Schulich. Oh,
okay. Okay, my family member, Malcarrick, married a Schulich. Okay, all right. Okay, that's normally how it goes. Somebody did something. But yeah, so all right, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'm telling you what, right now, I've been trying to get this guy on the show for at least 3 years. The longevity of this show, I've been trying to get this guy on. I've had great conversations with this guy on Facebook, on Messenger. I've had it with him on Facebook. This guy, man, let me tell you something. He's won everywhere up and down the West Coast. He's one of the top dogs out the West Coast, hailing in from Fresno, California, known as the Junkyard Dog. I love that name. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Jim Burgess.
Wow, that's quite the introduction.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can live up to that.
I always try to make my guests feel special, man. And Jim, you're definitely one of the most special guests that I've had on here, for sure. I don't get a chance to get many of you West Coast guys on here, and it's an honor and a privilege to go and get you on here and hear your story. There's going to be a lot of people out here on the East Coast that probably have seen you race, through the videos and stuff, but haven't seen you race in person. Maybe they have. Did you ever go to North Carolina and race?
Went to the initial one.
Okay.
I think it was 07.
Okay. All right.
That was a fantastic race. I didn't do well. I did well, most of the day, but I didn't get the result I wanted. But that race did prove a point.
We're going to get into that, Jim. We're going to get into all that.
It did, but it was there was over 50 supers there, so it was actually quite an event.
Well, you know what, Jim? There's so many questions. So I'm just going to ask you now while it's on the top of my head. Literally, what was it like racing against that many cars? Because I know what your guys' car count is like. I know what the East Coast car count is like, and it's almost the same. You guys are getting about, what, 12, 14 cars a night?
Well, here right now, funny you should ask, because for our next race at Meridian, we got 23 confirmed already. So we break 25 for that race. And we had, I believe, 16 at Shasta, which that race was a debacle. But it's the days of the ISMA dominance on car count end of it it's tough. It's tough. The dynamic of the world is changing. It's expensive. It's a generation lost. The kids don't want to get involved in this anymore. They don't know how to change a tire.
Preach it.
They don't. I mean, it's all old people. I mean, look at all the um and the generation isn't coming up to take over this thing, and that's the concern. I mean, it's a real concern, and it's just might die with the old timers.
you know what? I just said on the show last week, I believe it was last week, but I know I said it on the show this year. Every year, a super modified fan is dying, and not a new one is being born. You know, it's just we're not rejuvenating the super modifieds, and with fans, it's just I don't know. I don't get it. They're such a wild concept of car, and it's just crazy. And we just can't get the fans in there. You look in the pits. I literally the next time I go to a super modified race, I'm going to do a head count of how many people are there over the age of 40 in the pits and how many are there under the age of, we'll say, 20. And I guarantee you it's going to be probably 8-1, when it comes to that count of how many more older people are in the pits than there are younger kids.
And it's a problem with the 30-something-year-old people that have had kids. They're not involving them at that. And it's interesting that we're our fan base. We get 3,000-4,000 at Meridian. The next race will be sold out both nights, but that's got a lot of history there. But for example, we've run with the ARCA cars twice a year, once at Shasta and once at Madera, and we've done that last couple of years. And the promoter made the mistake of running us before the stock car main event, and if stands will be full, our main event's over, stands are empty. So now they've turned to running the ARCA cars before us and us being the headliner, so the fans stick around. So the fans that do go are going to watch the taxi cabs, and they're winding up getting hooked on the open wheel stuff,
Awesome.
which is encouraging. And, we've got, fortunately, some tracks out here that still have a really strong fan base, and we're kind of concentrating on that. And then, of course, Vegas is its own animal, and we've got 35 cars entered with 4 on the waiting list. And only one of those, Johnny's the only one on the East Coast car on the waiting list. Or he's in, but he's the only East Coast car.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah, that's a hell of a haul out there. It doesn't, I think if it paid more and if ISMA didn't have a show on the same night, I mean, 2 years ago, it was ran, one week after the other. And then last year they went up against each other. And this year they're doing the same thing. For the common good of super modifieds, I really think, and I know it's not a super modified show. All right. So Davey, if you're watching, I know this is a sprint car show, not a super modified show. But for the common good of super modifieds, I really think they need to separate that. I don't know how long the North Carolina deal is going to go for. I think that might run dry in the next 5 years or so. I hope it doesn't. I
got a story about that show, so that race. So
okay, all right. Well, you know what? Share.
Okay, so the initial idea when that came out, it was actually going to be an open comp. I spoke quite a bit with Chad Kepley, who did the Concord one, and he was proposing that West Coast cars be allowed for that race, and that when it was the week before the Open Wheel Showdown,
right?
And to him, I had committed, I think, 6 guys to go, and it was going to be a good commitment. The promoter was excited. Kepley was excited. Everybody was excited, except you know who.
I know.
ISMA put the kibosh on it and said, well, if that's the case, we won't run a race. So the promoter, acquiesced, of course. But to me, that's bad business. And it's bad business because it gives the promoter something to sell. And unfortunately, the days right now, the promoters that want to pay the money that we require are getting far and few between, and they need a gimmick. They need something to sell.
You know what, Jim? What I don't understand is, I help out a super late model team down here in Florida, and we don't run a race for under $10,000, and $1,000 to $1,500 to start. There's some races we run are $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 races we run. And if stands are halfway full, they're not jam packed. They're not like how it would be at some of your big races, or how they are at some of the big super modified races, like we'll just use High Miler or Classic Weekend for my East Coast people. They're about half full, and they're diehards. They're dedicated, and it's like, where the hell are they coming up with this money to pay $40,000, paying $30,000, or even $10,000 to win? And they're paying it. They're making money. Now, I do know they have a practice night the day before, and they're making a shit ton of money on fuel and tires and stuff like that the day before. And that's costing a lot of the race teams the money. But why can't the super modifieds do that? I don't understand why all these, like, as you like to call them, and myself too, the taxi cab cars are getting all this money dumped on them to go run these races. And literally, it's just one of those things where the super modifieds can't get that love. Now, they did up in Canada. They ran for $10,000 up in Canada, and I applaud ISMA and everybody that was all for that. And the pay rate for supers has stayed the same. And I don't know how they've been out in the East Coast, but I know I don't know how they've been on the West Coast, but I know out in the East Coast, it's stayed the same, and maybe even a little bit dropped, dipped a little bit compared to how it was 20 years ago. And these cars cost more now than they did then.
Well, East Coast cars cost more, but you can still, my car was built in 1986, and the motor is a Dash 12 thing you can get for 10, 12,000 on the used market. You could be in a West Coast super modified that can win a race for $25,000 all in, because we're allowed to run 200-300 pounds lighter, and that makes all the difference in the world. But as far as the pay out here, the reason we're getting more cars and doing better is we loaded up the purse on the bottom. I mean, it's $1,200 just we don't even pay to take the green flag. We pay to show up. So it's $1,200. If you break in hot laps, you get the $1,200,
Wow.
And, the guy told 10 hours, 8 hours to go there, you can send him home with nothing. And, a lot of this now on the West Coast, at least, is driven by outside sponsorship. We have to bring sponsorship to the table on occasion. Occasion we don't. The tracks have to do their work, like our local track, Madera. They get 20 people in the stands for their regular shows, but they're on TV and they got good sponsorship for the TV time, selling the commercials and such. So it's creative revenue streams, what they're doing. Plus they really rape you on the back gate nowadays out here, at least. I don't know how it is in the East Coast, but it's $50 a crewman to get in here.
It's about 40. It's about 40 over on the East Coast. To
Yeah.
get in. Yep.
West Coast insurance is higher and such, but it's tough. And then what we've done to save money is now we run 2-day shows. All our shows are a Friday, Saturday show, and I think 2 or 3 of them are at the same track. We give the promoter a discount on the Friday night show, of course, but the teams don't have to pack up, don't have to move. And if you just take the green flag for both nights, you get $2,400.
Wow.
And you don't have to move. And there's just a lot of reasons our West Coast, we've been able to make it economical. Tires, for example, you can ask Danzer, you can ask Otto, how much better our tires are and wear out here. And it's just a compound issue. And we have Hoosier make our tires for us in our compounds. And like on a Friday night show, you can run the right front both nights. The left front, you can get half a season. And then so you just got to buy drives. And so what that does is, for 2 races, you're buying 6 tires. And they don't heat cycle, so they're good for practice and such. So we're working on the pricing on that kind of stuff, and we allow a guy to scrape and treat his tires if it's a used tire for practice, and which makes that tire useful. You don't have to buy so many new sets for practice tires.
Right.
So and it's no advantage to practice on, but it gives you a good bead for the car if you're able to scrape and treat the tire.
Right. Yeah. No, I really hope ISMA is watching this, and the officials of ISMA, and I hope that other drivers are listening to this. What you're saying is all great things, and I cannot, go ahead disapprove of anything that you've said. That's 100% factual. I mean, just that's great. I mean, to load up on the bottom end like that, and I remember I went to Madeira. I want to say it was 2017. I think I went to Madeira for a super modified race out in California. And God, I can't remember who it was that I was hanging out with. I know Vanderpool won in the upright that night in the 77. And I think there was only like 6 cars. And there was like a sprint car and upright and four 360 super modifieds. I don't even know if they were like, the 410s or anything like that. But I didn't care. I wanted to go out there. I wanted to see Madeira. I wanted to see, West Coast super modified, only like 6 of them. And to go from that to 9 years later now to having 23 of these cars is phenomenal. I mean, that is great. And I really hope you guys get those numbers climbing higher and higher and higher. And we really do, need to have a East Coast versus West Coast race. Just like you said, open comp, run your rules, run what the West Coast rules are, run what the East Coast rules are. Don't try to be cute. Don't try to be slick. What ISMA allows, race it. What the West Coast allows, race it. Let's have a common ground. Let's go ahead and race somewhere. I would love to see you guys at Berlin Speedway up in Michigan. I would love to see that race.
When we went to North Carolina in 07, and ISMA wasn't familiar with that track because it wasn't a local track, and we never seen it. We rolled off the trailer, and me and Chris Purley, the first practice session, were 1 and 2 in quick time and within 1,000ths of each other. And that's when Chris was on his tear that year.
Right.
And and all the way down through the qualification order, it was 50-50, half West, half East. Same in qualification. And we ran our rules and they ran theirs. You can't get any more proof than that. You can go to Vegas and not necessarily who won when Dave won it and Otto won it, but you can look at the times, the race times, the qualifying times. They're all the same. And, Otto's a great driver. And, they know their shit. And Johnny knows his stuff. And but I'll tell you, my second car, what Matty Caffer was driving, had them all covered. We had a fuel issue about lap 12. But you can ask anybody who was there, nobody was going to stay with him. And that car was built in 1987. I mean, literally. And you got Johnny, who's got the top of the top, and they're virtually even out there. So now there's places like Star or somewhere where the big block versus small block, it's going to be different. But if you have it at a place like North Carolina, Vegas, or even Berlin, I'm not familiar with it, the fast guys are going to be fast. That's it. The guys who do the homework, because it's all how you roll through the corner anyway. I mean, that's where it's won.
Cream always rises to the top, Jim.
Well, it's all, if you're smart about your setup. I know you told me not to linger on, but
you're fine. You're fine. Go.
But a big contention with ISMA was that we had a cockpit adjustable shock. I mean, they were jumping up and down. I wound up having to disconnect mine. But I go over to say Johnny's car, and that each shock is $600-700. My shock, that cable adds $40. $40 to my $200 advanced racing shock. But what it does is I'm able to race better because I can bring the car back in if I miss setup with a $40 knob. And that was like, hey, the knob's got to go. Well, what about that Olin's remote reservoir $500 a corner shock you got there? Oh, we can't adjust it. It doesn't make sense. Or a $200 weight jacker. And all that makes for, it's not cheating, it makes for better racing. Like, you want to see the top guys run and you want to see good competition. So if you got a top guy that misses his setup and give him the tools during the race to bring that car back, all the better for everybody else. And it's not, I don't get it. Same thing with the iron block deal. I don't get it. I don't. An aluminum block is
Preach it.
An aluminum block is virtually no performance advantage. What the advantage is, you can repair it, you can find them on the used market, and then you can sell it. I mean, you'd have to find a guy with a day cruiser to sell your used big block. Put it in a boat.
Jason Kingsley, I hope you're watching this right now, because he's been saying what we've been saying now for about the last 10 years now over the phone every winter. My good friend Jason Kingsley, huge super modified fan too. We've said the same thing that you're saying right now. You're 100% correct, and I've always said the cast iron block is an old dump truck engine, anyways. So it's time to change, and let's get with the times.
Trying to justify an iron block over an aluminum block is like trying to justify a tranny using a women's bathroom. It's insane. It really is.
I gotta use that as a clip.
you gotta weigh the same. You gotta weigh it. And they say, well, you can put the weight wherever you want it. Well, you want to put it on the left side anyway, dope. So I mean, come on. I mean, it's not so much. You talk to guys like Mike Muldoon, and that guy, I love the guy. I mean, he can't shut him up, but I love the guy. And he's opinionated about what's going on out there. He loves. I mean, I think I hit it off with him because he's not well liked out there, and neither am I. So we're buddies, and it just, I don't get it. I don't get what all this, because if you included. But look at the race for the existence. You paid $10,000 to win up at Canada, and then you had the New England guys run the next day, and you got a total of 20, almost 26, 27 cars there, and you had 9 one night and 15 the other night. I mean, what the hell? I mean, come on.
Yep. No, I 100% agree. And my buddy Jason, he can't stand Facebook, but he does log on to his. And he just said the same thing. Big blocks are old technology. It's time to, it's time to change. It is. It's time. It's time to go ahead and everybody's like, well, what am I going to do with my big block? Sell it to the dirt mod guys. Sell it to a drag racer. Yeah, you can still race it until it blows up. Yeah.
Otto has proved that thing, and so has Dancer. But look at one of these 350 guys could want to go big, big racing, and just buy a used aluminum small block and throw it in their 350, and you just got a guy graduated to the big class instead of having to make new motor plates, new headers, and all that horse shit. All you would have to do is go get a used 410 for $10,000, aluminum one, add some weight to the car, and he's racing with ISMA or New England. Yeah. I mean, it's those things only got 850, 800, 850, 900 at tops. I mean, these big blocks are putting out more than that.
I love this, Jim.
Am I right?
Exactly am I right? 100% right. Yeah, I'm not. No, you're 100% correct. And I'm totally agreeing with you, not disagreeing with you. So yeah, what you're saying makes a great point.
Yeah. So if one of these 350 guys say wanted to run the classic with the big boys, all you have to do is put an aluminum 410 in that thing, add some weight, and he's racing with you guys. And these guys, the 350s. It's an easy segue into growing the big block class, but they won't have any of it. I guarantee flipping to you. I mean, they won't. We got our pride and ego and all that shit.
And that's the problem is that the old guard will not just let it go. And it's just okay. Prime example. I don't know if you know what's going on here. You got the Ohio Outlaw 350 Super Modified Series, and that started out with 2 or 3 350 super modifieds. And the next year it grew, it had 12. And the next year it had 16. This year they're looking to have about 24 every night. And they're crazy with them out in the New England area. Oswego, they're still needing some help there. But if you went and you put all those cars and you gave them the opportunity of what you just said, and that big classic race come up, even with the West Coast guys now. So you'd probably have about 10 West Coast guys that would come out. You'd probably have about another 10 more Ohio guys. You'd have 10 more New England guys, counting the Oswego cars. You would have about 70 cars there trying to qualify for the Oswego Classic again, which would make the classic again.
it's within reach and it's no big deal. And like, I don't get it. I don't get it because all those 350 guys are basically older ISMA cars.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, these independent stuff, like the stuff Johnny runs, all this stuff, yeah, they're neat. But at the end of the day, it's you can make anything work. Those 4 tires they know the weight. It's a roll center issue and everything, but you can work with an older car if you know your shit, and you can get it as fast in a race. Maybe not a qualifying time, but in a race trim as anything out there. And it just, I mean, you guys are at a bigger advantage because you actually got guys who build chassis for these things. We got nobody. We're buying stuff that's 20, 30 years old and racing it. I mean, you know, we that's what's holding us back is the no availability to buy a new car, even if you wanted to. And nobody builds homemade stuff anymore. Try finding somebody to build you a set of headers out here. It'd be like hen's teeth. It's crazy.
Oh, really? No kidding.
Oh, yeah.
So have you ever found yourself having to go out to the East Coast and look and see what's for sale out there and possibly have it shipped to you?
You know, I've been fortunate enough, and I find these old barn finds and everything, and I wind up getting them on the track, and they wind up winning, and the people wind up buying them off me, and I sell them at a loss to help the class. So,
right.
I mean, if you go up and down that line, that 23 cars that will be there this week, next race, I'll have owned 15, 16 of them at one point. Seriously.
Wow.
You know, but you know, I just sold 2 of them this year, and I got two right now. Identical, and they're good cars. So
yeah, that is great. So Jim, I know we kind of put the cart before the horse here, but you know, let's go ahead and change that around. But Jim, you have a storied racing career, and I'd like for everybody out here, we have a shit ton of people watching, and I know that we'll get back into the knit and grit here. When did you start racing?
Well, I used to race professional motocross. I was a factory rider back, I mean, a long time ago, late 70s, early 80s. So I'm old. And then I had some life issues go through. We just went into work, and I didn't do anything till had to been 1994. I showed up to an enduro. I got an enduro car, showed up to dirt enduro, did the dirt street stock thing, then the dirt IMCA thing, then the pavement IMCA thing, and then they had a 362 barrel class here at Madera, and a guy wanted me to drive his car, and I drove it and got second in it, and so I just said, okay, I'm gonna do this. It's fun. So I did that, and then the next year I threw some.
What tracks were you racing at out there? Like when you first started racing, when you first got on the ovals, were you running dirt, asphalt, a little bit of both?
Yeah, Hanford and Tulare and Santa Maria. I raced Paris a few times. You know, the dirt on the dirt end of it, on the pavement end, it was mainly Madera. And then when the super thing came, we went Madera, Altamont, Mesa Marin, El Cajon, Orange Show, you know, Shasta, Rose. There's tons of pavement tracks around, but they've gone by the wayside quite a bit. And then
how's the track situation out there out west? I mean, we got, you know, my 2 local tracks from Ohio that I grew up at, all, you know, one track was 8 miles away from my house, and the other one was 35 miles away from my house. Both of them closed simultaneously the same year. Are you having a lot of track closures out there?
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of times, like this Kern, the new half mile out there that Harvick owns, they would run us, but I'm telling you what, that that is way too fast for most of the caliber of the drivers we got and equipment. It would be great for some East Coast guys. I mean, Otto or one of those guys, or these that Schulich guy. I mean, they could really do some damage. This it would be a flat foot situation, like Berlin type thing.
Okay.
So basically, we run only Madera, and most of these tracks don't want to pay that big purse, and a lot of them are so noise restricted. We'll never meet the requirements on the noise. We can't put that big a muffler on a super. There's nowhere to put it.
Right.
It's just feasibly impossible. And so we've concentrated in our strong areas, a lot of Idaho, which is central. It's central to the guys in Washington, central to us, central. So all of us have about 8-10 hour pull, but it's a 2-day race.
Mm.
And so that's just the nature of the beast out here. You're going to have to pull. I mean, Madeira's a half hour, but that's a once a year deal. But pretty much other than Vegas, it's an 8-10 hour pull. And Vegas is just a destination vacation because it's turned into such a spectacle now down there and there's great racing and it's a great time. It's more of a vacation than a race for the guys. So
Right.
You'll never make a pencil out pulling out there because what you spend on the car, you're going to lose at the tables anyway. So you just got to go there and know you're going to drop 10 G's and call it a day,
Mhm. Yeah. No, that's about spot on right there. No, I totally get it and I understand, but it's definitely one of those deals to where I think you guys got a formula going on over there. Like that feeding, that 1,200, you guys are feeding the bottom of the group, and it's causing more guys to want to come out and pull out these barn finds that you got, and that's really great. I keep seeing these new cars that are coming out of these barns, and I think you bought a couple of them over a couple of years ago. You just said, and it's like, holy shit! Like that car went for what? Like you're kidding me.
Yeah, the one I raced at Shasta was built in 1984, and we said this will tell you how fast we're going now. The top 4 cars all broke the track record, all-time track record there, and that's sprint cars included. We've now become the faster class out here. Sprint cars used to hand it to super modifieds qualifying. We now are qualifying almost everywhere. Meridian, Wenatchee, all our tracks. Due to the fact that we're using a better compound tire and we opened up the wing rule, where you could take a 30-year-old car and set track records from $100,000 sprint car. And it's economical. It's economical. It just really is.
So my sponsor, Al Miller, just brought up a good question here. And he goes, how much does it pay to win a race?
Well, we'll work. I mean, the low end is a Friday night purse because we just, there, and it's, I think 1,500, and it's 25 to 5,000 on the Saturday night. So if you sweep the weekend, it's $4,000 or $5,000. Now we've got some 10,000 to win, we got some 5,000 to win, depending on outside sponsorship. But we've found that there's only one damn winner, and and there really is. And if a guy's going there, say he's a top 5 runner. And it would take a act of God for him to actually win and some luck. But what's he going to get? 250 at the bottom, $300? He's going to stop coming. I mean, he wants to be able to compete and make some money. And we've all decided as a collective that we're willing to sacrifice at the top to grow this thing. And it took a team effort. And Mark Pasquale is the guy who saved this whole thing. And he
I had him on the show last year, and it was a very intriguing conversation. And I would love probably, I will let the cat out the bag. I am going to come up to Utah. I know you guys had a 2-day race up there, and I'm going to come up there and interview a lot of your drivers and talk with a lot of the drivers up there. And Mark has reached the olive branch out and told me, he goes, if you come, I got your pit pass for both nights. So I'm definitely going to come up there to Utah. It's a beautiful area up there, and I definitely want to see some super modified racing up there. And I'm figuring from the sounds of it, you're going to have yourself a great car count. John Nicotra just commented on here. He says, don't open any Christmas packages from Jim.
Well, I tell him he's there's another red carpet preview this weekend at Mammoth Mountain. They made a documentary about me. So,
did they?
Yeah, it's probably gonna be on Paramount Plus. But it's not about racing. It's about a checkered part of my life. So,
okay.
So tell Johnny that he's going to get a delivery soon enough.
Well, man, I hope that you share with us and let us know when that comes out. I mean, I know we've all got skeletons in our closets and stuff like that, but if you're willing to put it as a documentary. Did you help in this documentary, or were they just talking
Oh yeah,
about you?
no, I participated. I'm in it quite a bit.
Okay.
It's there's either a 3 1 hour part or a hour and a half feature length, and it's on the BBC now in United Kingdom and Australia and France, but we're trying to sell it to it's either going to be Paramount Plus or maybe Apple TV at this point. We're trying to hold out for more money. So
all right, well, good for you.
No,
man.
I didn't do it. I mean, the same guy directed it, and just did that Hulk Hogan documentary. The same guy. Yeah. So if you just go to YouTube and Google search Harvey's Casino Bombing, that's what it's about. So
Harvey's Casino Bombing.
Harvey, like Harvey. Harvey's Casino Bombing. Just go to YouTube and you can Google it. And now the full feature length documentary is on there, but there's several on there that kind of paint a picture of what happened.
Okay. All right. Well, folks, this was literally a hard left-hand turn. I hope I don't lose viewers over this. So,
hey,
everybody's going to go over to YouTube.
Don't do that yet.
Yeah. Don't do that till it's over with, folks. So, yeah. Holy shit. Yeah. But
I enjoy Johnny, and Otto's just a hell of a guy. And everybody I met back in North Carolina. And there was a few, when we got there, Pearlie and his whole group, Vic Miller group, they were all puffing their chest, and they were you're wasting your time coming here. But when I rolled off, within 1,000, so I gained some respect there. So
right.
But he was quite a shoe, that guy.
Yep. John's going to be my guest on here next week, and me and John. I know John's watching this, and I hope John is watching this with great detail. And John, if you missed anything, go back. Jim brought up some great points. I really think that the East Coast needs to institute some, if not all of this. And John, we will definitely talk about what Jim brought up on the show this week, next week. So me and John, we used to go at it on Facebook. I mean, we would just and it was a lot about what you just brought up about the engines and stuff like that, So, I don't want to rehatch, old things between me and John, because we've actually became, good buddies now. And he gives me calls and checks on me, and, Merry Christmases and all that stuff. But just definitely one of those things where it's time to look down a different avenue to go ahead and get more cars.
I'm telling you, if you guys allowed those 350 guys to put an aluminum small block and run with you guys with the same weight and the same left side weight, same weight and everything, you'd have half a dozen of those guys go to the race close to them anyway, and great field fillers, and they'd run. And those guys, you got a feeder class there that if you guys did it the right way, you got no problems ever on car count. Never.
I've always said this, and I think me and Jason Kingsley talked about this. I know I talked about it with somebody else, but I've always felt that this 350 class is really growing. It's growing out in New England. It's growing out in Ohio. Like I said, Oswego's, but I think that the feeder class should be a stepping stone, like a Busch Grand National, with the ISMA guys being considered NASCAR. They should travel with those guys and say, hey, look, this is the next generation. It's going to be a super modified. It's going to be a big block super modified guy. That's my opinion. And I'll talk about John with that, but I think it should be a feeder class up to see. And especially the owners can put eyes on these next up and coming drivers. Most of these drivers here on the East Coast, they're all in their mid to late 30s, 40s. Some of them are knocking on the door. There's some of them, they're already in their 50s and 60s.
When at the Diamond Cup, the podium, the combined age was almost 200 years old.
Yeah.
It was 186 years old between the three of us that were on the podium.
Well, you had old man Hamilton on the podium.
He almost won the damn thing. I mean, he came close.
He took up a third of that age right there by himself.
He did. Between me and him, it's 150. So that was,
So you jumped into super modifieds, Jim, and for the first time, did you ever see one before that?
I had walked by at Madera when I was running my Grand American, and I said, "What the are those cars?" And then I didn't pay attention to them for years. And the interesting, I had the 2-barrel. I raced a couple races, and it was a WSMRA then, and they were struggling for car count. What else is new? And
Yeah.
Rick Gearhart, owner of Hoosier Tire West, asked me to go up to Wenatchee, which is in Washington, 22-hour tow, and go race with those guys. And keep in mind, I had an iron 360 wet sump with 202 heads on it, with a 2-barrel carburetor on it. And so we found some old set of Hillborn injectors and got it running. And I took the trip up there, and he paid my gas to bring the tires for the guys up there. And I didn't know anybody or anything, and I didn't even know how to set up. I knew nothing about these cars. I'd only raced it twice. And I went there, and I unloaded, and I won my heat race. And I beat Rebel, and I beat Regier, and I beat Bajoni. They're all my heat race. And it's a 1/4-mile little bull ring, and I did start on the pole. But those guys, I mean, they go, "Who the F is this guy?" And I was hooked. And so I found me a used 410 and started racing. I had a great rookie year. I had 7 second places, and I should have had 2 wins, but the car broke while I was in the lead. So that was with a first generation hider that was made in the late 70s, early 80s. And so it's just.
What year was your rookie year? I mean, you're bringing up some really great names.
2000.
Okay, then. So they were still running Phoenix then, weren't they?
Yeah, I managed to run Phoenix 1 year. The first lap, I spit out a drive line, but it was an experience. I'll forever remember it because it was such an easy track to drive. I mean, it was like driving Miss Daisy. It really was, But you were going fast, but it didn't feel fast. And that's the year I think Troy blew up. Lonnie won it, and I think Gosick hit the wall. I'm not sure. And that's the year that they went to Phoenix and Vegas, and Dunnigan had his car there, and he raced both of them, and he put an aluminum block in for that race. Actually, I remember.
Yeah, I think that motor blew up in practice or something like that.
Yeah. But he made he was in Vegas too, and him and Regier, they went down to the wire. And Regier got him one lap, but it doesn't matter. The car, East Coast, West Coast, certain tracks, they're dead up equal, no matter what.
I watched them. I watched the East Coast, West Coast. I want to say it was 1995 IRP, and I watched Bentley Warren and Davey Hamilton probably swap the lead. I'm not kidding you, maybe 6-8 times in the final laps. Bentley wound up winning the race, but it was one of the most phenomenal races I've ever watched in super modifieds. It just drive in the corner, he'd push up, the other one would just drive right underneath of him, and they just swapped the lead at one end of the track to the other. And it was just a phenomenal race. And I wish that there was video of that race, because that were right there would probably be one of the most watched super modified races on YouTube. So I would love to see that. Just watch that replay of that race. Yep. But yeah. So what did you think of the horsepower when you finally got that aluminum 410, or in the offset and the way it cuts? Like, what was your thoughts about that?
Yeah, it was to go from carburation to injection was a bit of a shock. But some people get scared of it. It just that was young and stupid, so I wasn't scared of much. So and the chassis reacts completely different the more horsepower you got. A good example of that is at Vegas. Kyle Ray had a dominant car this year, but that small block's also 459 cubic inches, is pushing 1,000 horse on the dyno, and he had all the ground effects and all the aero and everything. So he was fast, but he had a horrible setup. I actually was faster through the corners, and then he wasn't that much faster than me. Well, my motor wasn't running right, so after the race, we dynoed it, and I was 280 horsepower down on him at Vegas.
Oh, wow.
And because I didn't even break 700. And at the end of the day, had he not crashed and I not had a problem, I would have beat him because he was out of control. He would have burned the tires off. And I was the second fastest car there, down at least 150 to Davey and 280 to Kyle Ray. So it's all about how you roll through the corner is what the secret to all these are. Really it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Well, as long as you're taking left-hand turns, if you can get through the corners faster than the next guy, you will wind up rising to the top for sure. I 100% agree with that, without a doubt. Yep. So, have you ever ran for points? Have you won any track championships, any series championships, or was it just always with the traveling guys?
I think I think I won a dirt track championship, and I'm not a points guy. I mean, I just go to win. If I can't win, I don't really care. I'm making a conscious effort to try to do it this because they're paying qualifying points, and I told myself I'm going to sandbag this year because I want to get a better starting position and get some money, but the ego won't let me do it. So I think the 360 super modified thing, I won a championship, but I mean, like I said, it's never won a couple rookie of the years. It's never really.
Why don't they just draw pills? Like, okay, the top 6 guys.
Well, they do. I mean, your quick time, you draw 6, 8, or 10. So
Okay,
the best you're going to do is third row.
Yeah, but that's for the invert. But okay, so it's 6, 8, or 10. Then okay, so say if they throw an 8, it's an 8 invert or 8 car. So why don't they have the 8 guys come on the front straightaway and those 8 guys pull pills for starting positions?
You know what? That's a great idea, but that's not what they do.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I mean, it's something just to bring up. Yeah, I mean, just go ahead.
Yeah, and the promoter likes the fast guys in the back, and we're all about brown nosing the promoter right now. I mean, like Meridian, they like to go to the double file with the choose cone, which I like myself because it adds strategy. But a lot of these guys they're pretty out of control, and the double file on a quarter mile is risky. But hey, you know what? I enjoy it. So
yeah, I mean, you're definitely got to be up on the wheel. I mean, you're racing against some guys that they don't have much experience, racing at all, do they?
Some don't, and some of them are so old that they're literally a hazard out there. They can drive fast, but they're just. It's a challenge at times. Lap cars in our deal is very challenging. So it's getting better with the talent and the iron getting better. But it's just you want car count, you accept them all. We if they're way off the pace, we don't. You say you can't take. Hold on 1 second.
Go ahead, Jim. Yep. So. That being said here, folks, Jim's been around, West Coast racing for a lot of years, as he's talked about. Okay. And he's been very influential, I think, with the Speed Tour of what's going on with the Speed Tour these days. And I've been wanting to get Jim on here on the show for a long time. And the same stuff that he's saying now is what he's been saying on social media. And I wanted you guys to hear what it is that he's saying. I'm seeing that Al Miller says, I agree, Will, we should be right with them. And I don't know why ISMA does not call Larry Gibson and say, hey, Larry, look, we're in your backyard. We would love, or just, we reached out to Berlin Speedway. I think it'd be great if we could get you guys.
Yeah, Berlin was going to let me run. And then they did that. Thanks for reminding me another time.
Tell me the story, Jim. Tell me about.
Well,
tell me the story.
Shit, my memory is not good. But there was one race there. Oh, it was when MSS was going, and Reed and me, we had a dial. I mean, we were going to be able to run and all that stuff. And those guys had some vision and some foresight. And then IMSA and MSS married, and that small block option went out the window with the Godfathers. I'm serious. We were going to Berlin. No. You can ask Rich. He'll tell you. We're set, and then he apologized. Say, hey, man, just my hands are tied. And MSS was doing ISMA a favor. They were saving their bacon.
Oh,
you know, by combining them things. They were. I'm not saying that in a bad way. I mean, just
no. Hey, Jim, you are not saying anything that the East Coast people hasn't already said, and we've all kept that quiet. I've kept it quiet on this show, but if it wasn't for MSS, ISMA would have been dead. You're 100% correct. They saved their bacon. That's the best way to put it, because MSS's car count was growing. I mean, hell, look at the car count now between the Ohio guys and the East Coast guys.
And you had guys like Rich running the thing who actually had some vision, you know, and some common sense.
Yeah.
I mean, and I love all the guys who are running these super modifieds back there. I've talked to them on Facebook and such. Dave Shuluk and those guys, and they just good guys. But I don't know who keeps on throwing water on the coals on this deal, and trying to hold everything back and live in yesterday.
We would definitely. So let's go ahead and pause for a second here, folks. If you guys could please, even you West Coast people, I know I got a lot of West Coast fans on here watching Jim. Please share the show. If you guys could please share and like. We had great numbers last week, and I would greatly appreciate it if you guys could go ahead and share and like the show. Dave, are you on there, Dave? Are you in the background? Dave, if you could please let me know what the numbers were for last week. If you could go ahead and look up and just let me know.
Yeah, Willie, I'm here. They were 3.3.
Okay. All right. That's 3,300 people. So, folks, let's go ahead and try to get over that for Jim this week. That's really good. 3.3 last week. Let's try to get over those numbers this week for Jim. And let's, I know with John Nicotra, we're going to get at least 4,000 people because everybody loves John Nicotra. So,
well, not everybody. Hey,
I love you, John.
Anybody who wears them goofy, puffy jackets that guy wears, it's got to be a little suspect.
I'm going to come up there and see. John's going to give me a tour of his shop up there. He's going to show me all those trophies and everything that he's won. That Otto's won for him. So, and probably DJ and a few other guys he might have had racing for him too. But yeah, many of them are all Autos though. But yeah, with that being said, Jim, do you have any sponsors or anything like that you'd like to thank?
No, I got a little Monster Energy deal here this year, so that the car looks cool. They give me enough to do the car and some swag, but that's about it. Hopefully they'll turn into something better. And, you get a sponsor like that involved in super modified racing. And that was my main thrust, to get them out there and look at this and how that came up. It was interesting enough. They bought a sign at the Open Wheel Showdown of their drink, the Beast. And my car was driving by on the straightaway, and they saw a picture of my Super next to their sign, and the paint scheme kind of matched. And they saw that. They go, well, what is this thing? Because they look different. They draw attention.
Looks like a beast.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So one thing led to another, and established a somewhat relationship with them, and got a little bit of money. It's, everybody asking for money, so we got a little bit, and hopefully that turns into something better, and maybe a series sponsor, or it's that. And then Mark Pasquale, without him, none of this happens. He puts a ton of money, of his own money, into this thing, and really gets just bitched at, and how that goes. And Johnny helps put on that Wing Challenge thing, and I'm sure half his inbox is filled with people cussing him out. And it's a non-reward deal, but it's
a thankless job. It really is.
It's a sick passion. And then and that's about it. I'm run my own gig, and my crewman, my crew chief Dennis Langston, is getting everybody knows, getting people to work on these cars, a crew, is as hard, if not harder, than any part of it. Nobody wants to do it anymore. And and then half the guys you get are they're showing up with walkers and canes and I mean, it's crazy. So,
Yeah.
I mean, Dennis keeps my thing together, and when he quits, I'm going to have to quit because I got no other help. So, but that's not going to be for a while. Hopefully, we get some young people involved in this that could take the reins because he got, Johnny's no spring chicken and he's a driving force over there. And if he steps away, then what? I mean,
Oh,
a lot of it
Lord.
goes away. And with Mark or myself, I mean, I'm fielding 2 cars and I help usually 3 or 4 guys go to the races.
Yeah.
So we're in the hope of people stepping up and getting addicted to these things like we are. So
Absolutely. I tell everybody it's a drug. And racing is a drug, but super modified is just amped up to a different level of a drug. It really is. So let me go ahead and ask you a few questions. I like to call this the behind the helmet rapid fire question. So what is Jim like when he's not at the racetrack?
well, I'm still stupid and I'm racing, old man pro motocross and travel, but I'm workaholic and not slowing down and got a little bit too much ADHD to relax and be on the beach. But I'm I don't know how I describe myself, but just we'll say active.
Gotcha. Okay. So what do you have a race day routine or superstition?
No, but we're trying to do better and break the habit of loading in the car 10 minutes before main event time and getting to the track late. So it ultimately we're trying to be a little more prepared this year.
Right.
But but interesting enough that the whole racing thing's turned into for now we get an Airbnb, invite everybody over for barbecues because it's 2-day shows. So
Right.
all the teams come over and we've just turned it into like a traveling circus. So it's a neat deal.
That's awesome. What track gets you the most excited when it shows up on the schedule?
Well, I would say Salt Lake, but it's gone. It's now bulldozed over and it's warehousing. And that used to be really the funnest one. Vegas it drives so nice, it's so smooth. It's just you could do 100 laps there by yourself and just love it. I mean, it's just like ecstasy. And then Irwindale was fun too. It's unfortunate it's gone. Irwindale was a very fun and tailor-made for a supermodified track. That's a track that if they had an east-west car, it show that it would really, really have been a good show.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because I know they were going to have another sprint car showdown. They're going to do 2-day, like separated within a week of each other, but then the track wound up being sold and they had to cancel it. So that's unfortunate. Okay. Who is someone you always enjoyed racing against?
The nemesis was Troy Regier, and Troy had such financial backing and such superior equipment, and he's a superior driver. I mean, that guy holds, there was a year he was so dominant that I was the only other guy who actually passed him and made it stick. And it only happened 2 times in one season. So when you measure your success that you were able to pass a guy and make it stick, then he was pretty good. But he was always the nemesis, and then I had my share of wins against him. But him and Rebel and Mark Eckberg were, they were just a breed apart. I mean, they really were. You don't see too many guys who get up on the wheel like that anymore. I think Otto kind of reminds me of those guys. The guys, he's crafty and determined and intense, and those are the guys I enjoy racing against.
It was funny. I was watching that broadcast when Otto won. I'm going to step away from my questions here for a second, but I heard rumor that you were the one going around the pits telling the drivers if they were in the lead and Otto was behind them to start the race really slow so the big block couldn't get his charge up.
What? Well, that's not a rumor. That's a fact. And I'm going to rat him out. Who came up with that idea? It was Muldoon. And Mike, Matty Capra was driving that thing. And we had car problems all week. And he didn't even get any practice laps. He'd never driven a super modified. He got in my car, my other car. He set third quick time. And then he was walking away on the race. And what he would do on the restart, he chugged. We have to run a lot taller gear. I mean, not shorter gear. So because we turn 8,200 RPM and they're turning 75, 76.
Yeah.
So Matty would take that thing down to it's almost dying, chugging, and he'd take off on the restart. And poor Otto, he'd give up 7 car links on the restart every time. And fucking Johnny was sitting there jumping and he looked like Beavis, just jumping up and down, clenching his fists. It was hilarious. But it was Muldoon's idea. It was all Mike Muldoon's idea. So you can credit him with that idea. It was hilarious. So,
well, there you guys go. Now you guys know what who the reason why that all started. So Christopher Langston says Jim passed Troy in a bank parking lot in Salt Lake City one year.
Yeah, that's part of the shenanigans of. We did, and that's part of the deal because our group on the West Coast, and I don't know, I can't speak for the East Coast. We're all friends. We're all will go to the same restaurant. We all will go there, and we're competitors on the track, but we hang out. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, it's like family, and that's why it's grown because. The new guys who get into this, there's a kid named Matt Martinez from Colorado, came race us one time. He goes, man, I'm coming to this every time. He goes, I've never been treated so nice. I've never had so much help. I've never had so many people come up to me and offer to help me out. And we do that. So, I mean, it's a big difference.
I know back in the 80s and 90s and maybe in the very early 2000s, the East Coast was like that. It really was. The crew members all knew each other. We watched each other's kids grow up. We all we used to do the 2-day shows a lot also in the East Coast. And after the race was over with, we all went to the hotel. The hotel always had a hotel bar. We all bellied up there. We all, drank and ate, and we all had a good time and laughing and joke, played pranks on each other, that type of stuff. And I don't anymore with the East Coast guys anymore. They kind of all stay centrally located. There's a lot of drivers that do get along. They grew up with each other and they're best friends, and they'll be in each other's weddings. But as far as like the crew members, they kind of just all stay to each other now. They really don't laugh and joke. I just don't see it. Maybe it's just because I'm only there for a couple races a year, but I just don't think the camaraderie with ISMA, and I can't speak for Oswego because I'm only there for Classic Weekend, but I don't know what it's like anymore at Oswego, but I definitely know ISMA just doesn't seem to be what it used to be. A lot of us call it the good old days, so yeah. But okay, so more questions here. Let's go ahead and get to that.
On a note, though, real quick note, I want to tell Johnny that to be sure to put a 2-speed transmission on Otto's car because he's going to get the same treatment this year.
You hear that, John? John's going to have his rebuttal here next week on next week's show. I can promise you that. So what is your favorite active track right now that you're racing on?
Well, it's for the enjoyment and the event. It's Meridian. It's a 1/4-mile flat bull ring, but racing in front of thousands of people versus hundreds of people, and the fireworks show, the crowd enthusiasm. I mean, the pits they open the gates after the pits, and they're there till 2, 3 in the morning. And now the track is shit, but I mean, the event is fantastic. As far as Wenatchee, the 1/4-mile over up there with Garrett Evans, is a fantastic high bank quarter, and it's beautiful in Washington. It's a great facility. We race at State Line. I've never been there, but that's part of our 2-day show up there with Wenatchee. Remains to be seen. And then the Mill is another Boise track with the same crowd, but it's a brand new track, really green. So the top groove isn't much. It's kind of a situational track to pass. But it's all about the good time for me. I mean, and I started the 4th row at the Mill, and normally that's a death sentence, and I wound up winning just situationally, Mm-hmm. So you got to have good racecraft at these tracks. All except Vegas, you just need to have some nutsack there and a setup car. So
gotcha. So, what is your favorite race car you ever driven?
It's a tie. It's between my current car, um, the Ekbert chassis, X chassis, and Davy's number one. That I drove that for Davy in 2002 when Davy got hurt. Remember at Indy, almost lost his feet.
Yeah.
I drove his Super that year, and that car is it's been wrecked a bunch since then. But I mean, it was one in a million. The thing would roll the corner like no other. It had a little problem on a forward bite, but I'll tell you what, that thing was the easiest super modified to drive ever. And the Ekbert car is just a stomp and steer car, and it's just as dominant. So
Gotcha.
different car though.
What is your favorite racing memory?
It was winning the big race at Salt Lake City. They had a 10,000 to win there. That one was real special because it was the first year Jeff Russell, when he had that horrible crash at Vegas. And I don't know if you remember that when he almost died.
I heard about it. Yeah. I
Okay,
never-
so he has a horrible TBI, and he can't speak. He trouble speaking, and it'd been a couple years, and he had never spoken a word to his mother or anybody. He hadn't even uttered a word. And he was up there hanging around my pits, which is ironic because we used to hate each other. But after he got hurt, he liked me. So he really had a brain injury then, I guess. But we were sitting there and his mom was there. And he said, he uttered clear as day, "Win this for me." And she burst out into tears because he'd never spoken a word in 2 years, not a word. And I went there and Worf was really fast. And I gave him a good battle, but he passed me. And I started having a fuel pickup problem, and I just couldn't hang with him. But on the white flag lap, he shot a rod out through the block, and I won. And then Jeff came up to me and said, "See, I told you I'd win." So it was a memorable night in that regard. I don't like winning by somebody else's misfortune, but and I gave him the trophy. I mean, it was a trophy I wanted too, and one of the few I wanted to keep. But I took the check anyway. So
yeah.
it was a real special moment, and Jeff is still struggling, and he still makes it to every race in Boise, and I pray for him every year. But it's one of the casualties of racing. I mean, his front wheel, his axle broke at Vegas. His tire went over underneath his motor, and he went airborne and landed on the K barrier. And what damaged him was the wing tree snapped and came down like a tomahawk right on top of his head, and it went through his helmet. So everything else was okay, but that TBI got him. And I mean, it's sad to think about, and it makes you look at mortality. I've hit the wall with the throttle stuck when I should have been killed and had a bruised pinky. So when it's your time, it's your time. And people ask why we keep doing this. I'm sure all the drivers out there hear the same thing. Why do you keep putting yourself in harm's way? Well, when it's your time, it's your time. Period. And I believe a firm believer in. The Lord's already written that out for us, and I'm going to live it to fullest until then.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I 100% agree with you on that one. One race you wish you could redo?
I could tell you I wound up winning anyway by Jimmy White's misfortune, but I worked my butt off at Wenatchee, came from the back, and I passed several guys for the lead, and it was a challenge. And I wound up passing Jimmy White, and I got a little bit of a lead, and we came up to lap Randy Anderson. And there was 6 to go, and I go, because there was no top group. I go, I'm just going to tuck in behind Randy. He ain't got nothing for me at top. And I'll be damned, that guy just zipped me on the outside. And I was so mad that the white flag came out, and I was just going to, in turn 3, I was going to ram it in. I didn't care. It was going to be checkers or wreckers. And fortunately for me, unfortunately for him, he broke a valve and it got stuck in his butterfly, and he went into the wall wide open.
Oh,
And but as far as the race itself, he came out okay. He didn't get hurt, but being asleep at the wheel like that, I wish I would have. I just had it won legitimately, so that's one I wish I could have pulled back.
Gotcha. Let's see here. Do you prefer to race in day or nighttime?
Well, now that I'm old, the daytime. When I could see the nighttime,
Yeah.
it's a problem for us old folk. I mean, it really is. And you know, we raced there with the ARCA, and the lights are suspect there anyway. But ARCA rented probably 10 light stands, but them jackass taxi cab guys turned them off for our race. They wouldn't let us use their lights. I mean,
Oh,
that's how
Jesus.
much the taxi cabs love us guys, you know.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny you use that term because I hear it out east all the time. It's they call the stock cars out there. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your best post race food stop. So the racing's over with. You guys are headed home. Everybody's hungry in the truck. You guys are towing out of the racetrack. What's the best place that you guys always like to stop at?
Well, it varies town to town. We travel so much. So
Right.
town to town, I mean, anytime you're in Boise, you want to find a Texas Roadhouse. You really do. And like in Boise, there's this little coffee shop that's called Sherry's, and they make homemade pies there. It's right by the track. So when we're in Meridian, we've got 3 races there, so we'll be stopping there every time. In Vegas, who knows? So wherever you can get the buffet.
So, I'm a snacker. All right. I love my snacks, and I always have these guests that I always bring on here. I always want to know, what's your favorite snack? Do you have a favorite snack? If I go in your cupboard, like Jim's always got those snacks and nobody better never touch them.
It's those Takis, man. You got to have those Takis. Whoever invented those things is genius.
Yeah, I've had a few. I had them a few times. So my oldest son turned me on to those. So yeah, he's a big fan of those too. If there's one race that would be a dream to win, what would that one race be?
Man, I'm telling you what, and it may sound corny, but I've been trying since 1999 to race the Classic, and nobody will allow me in their bougie vehicle. And no, I mean, I've given up trying to race or an ISMA race, and I'm working with Mike to drive, his son's car one time this year. So I'm going to be at an ISMA race with the Muldoon's car. So you can count on that. I'll let you know when, because hide your women and children. I'm coming for Bear.
Oh, hell yeah, folks. You heard it here first. Breaking news.
And Mike's got pretty good iron from what I understand.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. For sure.
And we've been talking. We in fact talked the other day, just 2-3 days about it. And I know we're talking about, I think there's a race at Berlin that we're aiming for. So.
Oh, you're going to love that track, man.
Well, yeah, I mean, so.
Yep.
So that's the plan. I mean, I'm planning on running Mike's car at least once this year.
That's awesome. Well, you know what? I hope somebody gives you a shot. I hope one of these car owners are watching this and they're saying, you know what? This guy's got a loud mouth. Let's see what he does out here, out with the big boys here at Oswego. So I would love to see you in a super modified out at Oswego, especially for the Classic. We need some fresh blood. We need some guys out there.
I don't see how those guys go 200 laps, so I get flipping tired in 50. I just, I really don't know how they do that.
well, thank God caution laps count. I can tell you that right now.
Oh man, I tell you, if that went 200 green, they'd have to get the ambulance for me.
I could see you pulling in and be like, "What's wrong with the car? Like, what's wrong with the driver?"
yeah, but that would be it exactly.
Yeah. So, all right, folks. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Helen from Fresno, California. They call him the Junkyard Dog, but
how'd that
name come to be? How'd that name come to be?
Okay, when my first year of super modified racing, I had an old clapped out hider, an old one. And it was just borrowed and begged pieces, just junk all over it. And the crap would fall off it during the race. The stuff would fly off it or whatever. And Regier, I was giving him fits. He was like, I can't believe Junkyard Dog is beating me with that piece of crap. So it just stuck, So it was
There you
Regier
go.
coined that term for me.
All right. That's right. Yeah, there is 3 big block cars in California. Has those cars ever been brought out of the mothballs?
Oh yeah, Randy Anderson runs a big block every year, and he actually bought Ed Hyder's last independent car, and he'll have that, I believe, for Washington, the Wenatchee race. And it's a big block Hyder. It's got a Mopar in it, in fact, and he's gonna. It's an independent Hyder, so it's kind of a unique deal.
Well, hold on.
and then
here,
Lamborn
Jim.
used to run a big block. Big blocks are bad. Just when you got a short track,
There's
they don't rev up so quick.
There's 3 cars from Oswego that were bought there about 12 or 14 years ago, and they were brought out to California. And I know that they've been sitting in mothballs. Have you heard anything about those cars?
Well, I think Ricky Ott's campaign is a big block. I know which ones you're talking about. There's one up in Washington, I think. Stacy Jensen had. Yeah, I'm not sure where they are.
Okay. All right. Then everybody's always curious about those cars and where they're at. I know there's people that want to buy those cars and bring them back east. So, but those cars should be raced. Those cars should not be sitting around collecting dust. I can tell you that right now. But
Well, I agree.
with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, the Junkyard Dog himself, Jim Burgess. Jim, it was an honor. It was a pleasure. Thank you for coming on, and I look forward to speaking to you soon.
Yeah,
and by the
we'll
way,
see you when you come out west for sure.
yep. And by the way, Jim's going to be having some T-shirts being released here very soon. And he showed me a sneak preview yesterday. I love them. So, Jim, when those shirts come out, let me know, and I'll buy a shirt off you. You just got to send it out east for me.
You got it, buddy.
All right. You guys take care. Take care, Jim. I'll talk to you later. All right. So, with that being said, folks, Dave, I know you got to give me a little bit of leeway here, man. I know we started late, but just let me go. Just let me go over some news here. I know that we've had some super modified racing this week, and I know that we had some winners. And I don't want to go ahead and forget about those people, but I just want to say congratulations to Justin Harris on winning the Smack 350 race. With Brad Babb finishing second, Brian Roby finishing third, Hayden Grandier finishing fourth, and Bobby Timmons running out the top 5 for that. And then we have, sorry, folks. And then we had, what's this? Oh, yeah. We had the New England Super Modified Series. Finishing first was Jeffrey Battle. Second was Dan Bowles. Third was Matt Swanson. Fourth was Ben Seitz. And Anthony Nocella wound up finishing 5th for that race. And I just want to go ahead and thank those guys for coming on out there. And thank you to Smack and New England Series for posting and all that other fun stuff. I greatly appreciate you guys. I know that Trent Stevens won up there in Canada. I know Tyler Schulich wound up finishing second. I got to watch that race. And by the way, Rolling with Rollo, thank you so much, Rollo. That was a great video that you did there. Forgot who finished third, so I apologize for that. Oh, also, too, on a somber note here, and thank you to Danny K for posting this. We learned about the passing of a huge super modified fan based out of Oswego, New York. The owner of, Mike O'Brien from Wholesale Diamond Exchange in Oswego. He's the one that supplied the Oswego Classic ring since 1988. And it's going to be a huge loss to the super modified community up there. So just want to let Mike O'Brien's family know that, prayers, for you and for all the family and all your friends out there that were friends with Mike. I've never got a chance to meet him. I did believe I might have had a conversation with him, knowing who he was, but I know that he did. You know what? I did have a conversation with him, and I'll tell you guys a brief story. I needed to get a super modified necklace, and somebody put me in touch with him, and he wound up having that necklace made and shipped down to Florida with me. So I appreciate that, and it's going to be a big loss. And so I will dedicate this show to the O'Brien, Mike O'Brien, the O'Brien family. So with that being said, Dave, another great show. This show went exactly like how I thought it was going to be. John Nicotra is going to get on here next week, and he's going to just, no, Will, no, you can't do this. And I got everything that Jim just brought up between the purses and the motors and all this and that. It's going to be great. I'm telling you guys right now, next week's guest, John Nicotra. It's going to be a little bit of fireworks and fun, though. John's my buddy. So we'll have some great stuff. And John's going to tell us all about the challenge series that he has going on and, what the future are for super modifieds. I love to pick John's brain. I love for you guys to hear everything that John has to say. Well, with that being said, folks, it's time for me to tip the bellboy and check out. You guys take care, and thank you guys for watching Tight and Loose Out. And share the show. Share Tight and Loose Out. Share Tight and Loose Out. Share, like, all those, Redline Radio, all that stuff. Share, like, love, do all that stuff. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. I'm out. Dave, send me out of here.
Redline Network introduces our newest partnership, Outlaw Light. Outlaw is crafted for all of the beer drinking patrons of America. They aren't preaching or teaching. Their mission, plain and simple, to provide a high quality beer at an affordable price. Outlaw is crisp, crushable, refreshing. Available by the case, tall boys, 16-ounce 6-packs or singles. Go to outlawbeer.com to find the nearest can or tavern near you. The Redline Network proudly raises their cans to you. Stay bold, Outlaw.